Now I am going to practice with my chair back here on a yoga mat so that I can show you how you can do this from your own chair. I will check the chat for questions again before we close for the session. I forgot I had my funky socks on. I like to be barefoot when I practice yoga because that's really important in grounding. So when we're grounding, just like focusing on the breath can help you to feel more present. It can help you to feel anchored to your body and to the present moment. So can grounding. And what grounding means is literally to just feel yourself on the ground, feel your feet on the ground. So if you've been sitting for a while and you want to come to stand, you're welcome to do that. If you'd rather be sitting in a chair or on your bed or on the floor, you're welcome to do that as well. Nothing fancy here, just make yourself comfortable. And then just begin to focus on the feeling of your feet on the ground or whatever part of yourself is being supported right now. So that might be your sit bones, the backs of your thighs. If you're sitting cross-legged on the ground, it might be your calves and your sides of your thighs. Whatever part of yourself is being supported, you can maybe close your eyes or just unfocus or soften your gaze. And just bring all of your attention to the bottoms of your feet or the parts of yourself that are supported. And just really letting that be an anchor to keep you here in the present moment, to keep you in your body. When many of us are injured or have any kind of disease or any kind of discomfort in our body, that's the last place we want to be. But being in your body and paying attention to yourself is very powerful for healing. So just really focusing your attention there. And if that's hard for you to visualize, you might think about, say you're in bed at night, it's dark, you've misplaced your pillow, and you're kind of feeling around in the dark for your pillow. All of your attention is here in the palms of your hands looking for your pillow. So you don't need to see your eyes because all of your attention is focused here in your hands. So maybe you might feel now your hands resting on your lap. And just feel the fabric or the skin underneath your fingers, underneath your palms. And you might look for that prana because this is the pranamaya kosha. So you might be able to sense some aliveness in your hands or your feet. Maybe just a very subtle sort of energetic tingling. Just a sense of aliveness and vitality. And this is a wonderful tool for when we're feeling stressed or in discomfort, just to ground ourselves here and redirect our focus. And then with yourself grounded here, again, shift your attention to your breath. And I'd like to invite you to bring one hand and then the other over your belly. And see if you can feel your belly expand into your hands as you inhale. And then feel your belly soften under your hands as you exhale. And while you're here, just let your elbows be heavy and your shoulders be relaxed. You're not trying to force the breath or change the breath. You're just looking to see if you can deepen the breath a little bit by inviting it down into your belly. And then kind of focusing now on the ribs, or maybe right here just below the sternum. You might bring one or both hands to the sternum, or the backs, or the backs or the front of the palms here to the ribs. And see if you can feel that expansion here at the diaphragm, beneath the sternum, or out into the ribs. And this is where the diaphragm is. And there's a big bundle of nerves right here at the solar plexus. Also located in this area is the stomach, the pancreas. And so we're just giving all of the lymphatic passageways, the lymph nodes, the abdominal organs, a little massage every time we intentionally breathe with the diaphragm. We're moving that muscle up and down. When we inhale, the diaphragm, which is kind of flat, sort of drops down into like a smile shape. And when we exhale, it sort of pushes up to push all of the air back out. So as it drops down, it presses down on those abdominal organs, which causes the belly to expand. And as it comes up, the belly softens and all the air gets drawn back out. So if you want to release your hands, you can here, but just focusing on this breath at the diaphragm. Just a few more breaths right here. Soften the muscles of your face. Feel your feet on the ground or your hands resting in your lap, and focus on your breath. And again, you can do this seated, or even lying down. And then just one more way we can use our breath to support the vagus nerve and the lymphatic passageways. You might bring one hand and the other to your heart, right over that thymus gland. We'll do 3 rounds of Brahmari breath, which is a pranayama practice where we exhale with a hum. So we'll inhale through the nose, and as you exhale, just gently press your lips together and hum it out. So it'll sound like this. And just come back to your regular breath for a few rounds. And just notice as the humming breath kind of runs its course, how that sort of reverberates throughout your body. We'll do that 2 more times, and as you hum your exhale, feel the vibration in your body. Notice all of the places where you feel that sensation. You might feel it right under your hands. You might feel it in your throat or your jaw. You might even feel it in your shoulders, in your back, or maybe your belly. And just let that taper off as you come back to your regular breath. And you can do that as often or as many times as you like. And then we'll get started on our lymphatic massage. So I'm going to do this from my seat. If you are also in a seat, one of the things you can do is bend your left knee and bring your foot right to the edge of your chair. If that's not comfortable for your situation, or if you're sitting on the ground, you can extend your legs out long with a little bend. If you've got yoga blocks, you might bring a yoga block in front of you and prop one of your feet up there. Or you maybe have a step stool or an ottoman that you can stretch out on to bring your legs a little bit closer, just to make for easier access. If you're doing this with warmed up oils, I suggest putting a towel down and doing that in a nice warm room. Probably won't be doing that tonight, but if you decide you want to do that tomorrow or another day before your shower, I do recommend putting down a towel and just stretching out on the floor. But for now, we'll just start with that left foot. So however you can get to it easily. And again, if you're on the floor, you might just stretch your leg out and bend and reach here. You could also put some pillows underneath your legs to offer yourself a little support. And we're just going to start at our extremities. So we're just going to bring our fingertips, and again, it's just a very soft stroking motion. Almost like you're petting a cat with that same kind of energy, not like you're petting a dog, maybe like the touch that you would use to stroke a baby's tummy or something. And we'll go up not just the front of the leg, but also the sides of the calf and the back of the calf, and especially the back of the knee here, maybe stroking along the back of the knee. You might make some circular motions around the kneecap. And then we'll stroke the thigh. Again, the top of the thigh, the sides of the thigh, the back of the thigh, all the way up towards the sit bones and the groin. And it's just very gentle. Again, it's right under the surface of the skin. We're not doing a muscle massage. We're massaging just that fluid. And then we'll switch to the other leg. Now, other ways that you might stroke are closing your hands and using the flat part of your curled fingers. You might also like to knock with the flat part of your curled fingers. So you could knock or tap all the way up, again, very gently, getting into the sides and the front and the back. Maybe a little tapping here behind the knee, little circles around the kneecap, and then again, tapping your way up the leg. And like I said, if you practice dry brushing, you could do the same kind of motion, but just using your dry brush, moving from the lower extremities up towards the center. And then just shake it out, maybe tap your feet a bit, and just notice how you feel. Notice what's happening in your body. Notice any shift in your energy. Maybe you don't notice much at all, and that's definitely okay. And then we'll move to our arms. So we're just gonna, once again, take your left arm out straight and use your right hand to just stroke, knock, tap up from the fingertips along the lower arm, inner, outer sides, the inner elbow, the outer elbow, all the way up the top of the arm. And then you could either stroke from here, or maybe you're resting your hand down, especially if you've had some recent surgery, you can keep your hand down low. Or you might bend your left elbow and point it up towards the sky and stroke down this way. Drawing all of the lymph up the arm towards the armpit, and you could even gently stroke here in the armpit. And then again, we'll do the right side. So always finding balance and always starting from the lower extremity towards the center of the body. So we're drawing all this lymphatic fluid up to the lymph nodes where it can be filtered, and towards the thymus where it can collect new immune cells to send around our body. And then again, making sure to get the back of the arm and the armpits in whatever access way works best for you. And as I said, if you are experiencing any of the conditions that I mentioned, menstruating, pregnant, if you're in pain, definitely just watch and take notes for when you're in a place where you can do this a little more easily. And then we're going to take our first two fingers here right to that acupressure point at the inside of the eyes, just of the eyebrows rather. And you're just going to kind of bow your head forward a little bit so that there's just a bit of weight in your fingers. And we're just holding steady here. Breathe your diaphragmatic breath, feel your feet on the ground, relax your shoulders. And then we'll move the fingers up to the top of the forehead here. And we're just going to begin to tap or stroke. I'm going to tap right now because I've got some makeup on here. I don't want to smear. But you could also stroke across the top of the forehead down towards the temples, and then continue down the forehead until you get to the eyebrows, just working from the center out to the sides. And then maybe even a little bit of massage with the index fingers here at the inner corners of the eyes, at the bridge of the nose. And then perhaps some tapping under the eyes, across the tops of the cheekbones. And again, this is very gentle. Be very loving and kind in your touch to yourself. And then we'll out at the temples, just make some circular or tapping or stroking motions. And as you can see, I'm kind of changing how I use my hands here, not just for your benefit, but some places of my body prefer circular motions, other places prefer tapping. So just exploring that self-study, what feels good and supportive for you. And then we'll take our index fingers and thumbs and hold on to the tops of the ears here, and just a little massage right here in the shell of the ears. And then just sort of moving your fingers down, gentle pulling, massaging, stretching of the ears all the way down to the earlobes. And then we'll bring those index fingers again right here behind the earlobes where the jaw meets the neck. And you might find a little place there. If you are a teeth grinder or clencher, it could be pretty tender. And then again, you might just gently stroke or tap your way down your jaw to your chin. And then we'll move back to the ear, behind the earlobe, and here we'll stroke or tap down the sides of the neck. And you might just picture that diagram that I showed, showing the lymphatic passageways and all the little lymph nodes. And you might even be able to feel some little lymph nodes here in your neck. When they're tender, that's an indication that maybe you've got something going on. Usually I notice that if I'm about ready to have a cold or getting over a cold. And then we'll bring our two first fingers again to the inner insides of the collarbones here. And we're just going to tap across the top of the collarbones out towards the shoulders, coming inward and working your way out a few times. And then right on top of the collarbones, and then just below. And you can do this as long and as often as you like. And then we'll bring all the fingertips together. So kind of like you're doing a shadow puppet here. And we're going to just tap right here under the arms as high up as you can comfortably get. along the rib cage. And then we'll come all the way forward to that diaphragm, and I'm going to stand up here. I'm going to bring the flat of my two hands to the diaphragm, and I'm going to do a little abdominal lymphatic massage. So I'm going to move to my left because this is going to go across the stomach and the pancreas, and then down the left side goes down the descending colon, and then across the low abdomen to the right side, and then up goes up the ascending colon to the liver and the gallbladder, and then back around to the solar plexus and the stomach and the pancreas. And so we can continue in these very slow, soft, gentle circles, and we can begin to make those circles a little smaller. And this is not only great for moving the lymph throughout the abdomen and massaging the lymph nodes in the abdomen, but for massaging all of those internal organs. It's supportive for our digestion and elimination. And then when you've had enough there, finally, we'll take our fingertips and just tap right here at the thymus gland. So just very gently. If you want to really get into it, I don't know why King Kong or some gorillas do this, but they kind of take the flat part of the fists and really go for it here. Again, we don't want to hurt ourselves, but we want to feel some sensation. And you could even add in the humming here. So you might inhale through your nose and then hum it out. And then just let that float away. Release your hands. Rest your palms in your lap or on your belly. And just building that skill of interoception. Soften your gaze or close your eyes. And once again, just feel what your body's feeling. Look for any kind of aliveness, any kind of vitality. Be with your breath, be with your body. Maybe offer yourself some appreciation for showing up for you today. And I'm going to move my chair here back to the front of the room. We've got a few minutes left in our session, so if anybody has any questions or comments or anything at all that you'd like to share about your experience, please feel free to unmute yourself or type it in the chat. I'm going to check that chat again. Oh, here we are. Robin's responding to your question, Carol. So if you want to read that in the chat, that's there for you. Does lymphatic massage help with nerve damage and rebuilding sensation? I don't know. I wish I had an answer to that. I will add that to my list of things that I will look for more. I don't have as much training on the actual nerves of the body. I do in the nervous system, but how the nerves work with the lymph is a great question and something I am really looking forward to learning more about. So if I find some kind of answer to that, I'll include that with the PDF slides of this presentation. That's a great question. Couple more things I wanted to show before I forget real quick. If you have a wall, and I'll take my chair as well back. If you have a wall or a chair, one of the very best things that you can do in your yoga practice for lymphedema in the lower legs is to, and you can do this with your couch as well, just go ahead and lay on the ground and put your calves up on your chair or your couch. And just rest here and breathe and let the lymph kind of reset and sort of use gravity to bring the lymph back down. If you have a clear wall, you could sit right up against the wall and then lower yourself down to your forearms and then your back, and then just kind of swing your legs up the wall. You might have to scooch so that your sit bones are pressed right against the wall. So it's almost as if you're sitting on the ground, but it's right on the wall. And then just let gravity do its work from here. And again, legs on the chair or legs up the wall are both things that you can do as often and as long as it feels good to you. If you are in one of those positions, I do suggest that you lay on something soft and padded because that can be a little much for the bones of our back after a while. And let's see here. Reduced tonsillitis or tonsil stones? I don't know. That's another great question. I'll have to look into that. I have a funny story about tonsil stones. I actually had the first one happen when I was probably a kid. And I thought it was so weird and gross that I didn't tell anybody or ask anybody about it because I thought it was super weird. And then it had probably happened to me 3 or 4 times over the course of my life. And then somebody I was talking to mentioned it, and I was like, you get that too? That's not just some weird thing that I have, you know? So yeah, I will definitely look into that. That's interesting.
My
I will.
daughter gets them bad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My daughter gets them bad, and she self-diagnosed herself. I never even heard of tonsil stones. She
Yeah,
gets big
yeah, me.
ones coming out, and it's just awful. Yeah, I feel bad for you both. Oh, yeah.
It's not something that happens a lot, but it was just one of those things. And I don't know if anybody else can relate, but sometimes we have things that happen to our bodies that we are feel a little shame about and a
Yeah.
little confusion, and we've never heard of it before and nobody else mentions it and we hesitate to ask about it. But I think the more that we normalize these things, the more information we have, the more we can share what we come up with each other. So I will look into that as well. I am going to be sharing the slides, and there will be a recording. I think Allison is going to send it out to you all and everybody who registered to the class. And then she's also going to send the recording to me, and I'm going to post it to the YouTube channel where we save all of our Friday yoga videos. And that's about all I have, Allison. If anybody has anything else to share, I know we're at time here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Christine, on behalf of Breast Friends and our community. Thank you for sharing this wonderful information. I learned a few things, that I didn't know about the lymphatic system. So thank you so much for sharing. And as Christine said, we will be sending the slides plus the recording for those who would like to rewatch the workshop. And then also Christine is going to send the information on the lymphedema massage therapist that she recommends, or acupuncturist.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me. I'll write that down. Chances are pretty good. If you see me write it down, I'll remember.
So watch your email in the next few days for that recording. And again, thank you, Christine, from Breast Friends. It's always a joy to have you be part of the Breast Friends community.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me to be here. It is my pleasure and my privilege to share everything that I have learned in my own personal healing journey. And I really am grateful that you've given me all your time and spent this time with me today.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Good night. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.